Hey Gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk. I'm Corey and I am standing next to the 2022 all-new, first upgrade in over a decade Lexus LX 600 in the brand new F Sport trim. This thing is meant for handling on-road as well as tackling some pretty big obstacles off-road. In this video, I'm going to take you on a quick tour of the outside, the inside, how this handles, and maybe just a little bit how it performs off-road. Stay tuned. All right, Gearheads, the real story with this LX 600 is the lack of V8. So this replaces the LX 570, which had Toyota Lexus's 5.7 liter V8 naturally aspirated. This is no 6 liter anything. This is the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 found in the Toyota Tundra, soon to be found in the Toyota Sequoia, also found in the, unfortunately not coming to US shores, Toyota Land Cruiser. And I will say, made it to the 10-speed automatic transmission in this. I absolutely adore this powertrain in this vehicle. 409 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque. I can't even talk. It's a good powertrain. Towing numbers up to 8,000 pounds in this vehicle. Interestingly enough, it's like really far back here. There's a lot of schnoz on the front of this vehicle, and perhaps that's the big story here is the new F Sport nose. This has a very aggressive, very F Sport appearance package from other Lexus models without any real performance upgrades. It's still the same power plant, still the same transmission, still all the same technological goodies, but you get this exclusive front end with this blacked out spindle grille that is massive. In fact, my own brother saw pictures of the front of this before he ever saw the full thing and thought I had a black vehicle for the week. But you do get updated LED lighting with Lexus's signature running light here. You do get LED fog lights. There they are, down there. But a lot of solid plastic bits here. There is opening here, there's openings here, but there's a lot of grille on the front of this vehicle. And non-F Sport models get a lot of chrome bars that go down the front. Very blingy for sure, set to go up against the likes of the Cadillac Escalade in terms of total bling. Bring up the Escalade because the Escalade also offers a sport version that really is just a black appearance package. Here you go. Moving to the side of this big beast, this is my favorite angle of it because, again, that long schnoz really helps give this a very fast look to it, even though it is a big truck-based 3-row SUV. Because of your short overhang here, your long schnoz front, the hood on this one, the proportions on it look very good. This does have practically the exact same wheelbase as the outgoing 570 that it replaces because Toyota and Lexus have determined that 112-ish inch wheelbase is like ideal for off-roading. Again, we will get to that here in a little bit. Very nice interior appointments, but we'll get to that in a little bit. This F Sport has running boards that may or may not be a hindrance when traversing off-road, but with these big 22-inch wheels wrapped in Dunlop tires, are you really going to be doing a lot of off-roading in this F Sport model? I do know that we're no longer getting the Toyota Land Cruiser. This is the one we're getting, the Land Cruiser in a tux, but those aren't off-road tires. If you plan on taking this one off-road, you're gonna be swapping those out. You'll probably be unbolting these as well. Very nice three window design here with a very large stationary window back here for rear passengers. There is a lot of light that gets into this vehicle. You do get chrome bright work here on the side of this F Sport, which is curious with all the black accents up front. You do get Toyota Lexus's smart key access on all 4 doors. You just have to reach your hand behind and pull to open and it will unlock, and there's a little touch sensitive spot here on the tops of all 4 doors. You can hear it beeping now because I've actually got it in accessory mode, but trust me, it locks from all 4 doors. A very nice touch for families. And then moving around back to the back, we'll talk about the cargo back here. All right, back here at the back, you get very modern, very updated styling. Gone is the split tailgate of the LX 570 that this replaces in favor of a traditional hatch. You do get updated LED taillights with LED turn signals and this LED light bar that spans the entire width. I've taken this to some friends. They say it kind of gives them Chrysler Pacifica vibes. I don't know, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Lexus is also ditching the L logo here on the tailgate in favor of spelling out Lexus in big block letters. It is a trend that more and more automakers are doing. I actually like it. It gives it a big, bold presence back here on the back and really just ties it all together very nicely. Do get black plastic cladding down here on the bottom for a little bit of off-road ruggedness. Opening up the hatch, it is power operated. You can see there's a lot of hatch here. It's actually quite thick. And I've actually got the 3rd row seats up right now. Lexus actually does not claim any cargo capacity with the rear seats up in this, but you can see it's deep enough for a stack of a few camping chairs, but not really much more than that. Our model also comes with a Lexus branded first aid kit, but Lexus does allow you for additional cargo space. You can fold the power fold 3rd row seats down from the buttons right here, which does open up quite a bit of cargo space. I will leave those dimensions down in the description below. But very flat load floor now, where you can get more than just those 4 camping chairs in here. You can actually get quite a lot of stuff. Those are power reclining from the 3rd row there as well. And then Toyota has a hatch mounted, I know I keep saying Toyota, Lexus has a hatch mounted power close button. Well, that's a quick tour of the outside. Why don't we go inside and I'll show you some of my favorite features there. Moving inside the Lexus LX 600, you get Lexus's, Toyota's very corporate steering wheel. It is leather wrapped, it is perforated. You do get paddle shifters here on the back, but you can see all your controls for your screen up here and all of your cruise control, and then your audio controls down here on the bottom. You do get a customizable center section with auxiliary analog gauges there on the side. You can see this one has been rather thirsty at 17 mpg over the 600 miles that we have driven this one, but it has done a rather good job at being fuel efficient on long highway drives. We've also been doing quite a bit of city driving in that 600 miles as well. We did see over 20 mpg on the highway, but like I said, there are a lot of different customizable features here that show everything from your tire pressure, including your full-size spare tire that is mounted under the 3rd row, as well as other vehicle information, your audio, your Lexus Safety Sense, and any stored messages. So very nice system here. Maybe not as customizable as others, but still very informative. You can see over here you have the adjustment for the brightness, your odometer and your trip meter, and then your button for your cameras, which sitting here stationary does a quick scan of its surroundings. I'm not controlling this, I have no control over this, but you can see it does a very good job of showing you everything around the vehicle here. You can actually play and pause that here from the side, but that's really all you get while you are in park. We'll look more into that here in a little bit. Down here you do get another screen that controls your drive mode functions. Right here is your drive mode screen. It shows you your brake, accelerator, your four-wheel drive mode, your actual drive mode. I'm set to comfort right now. A G meter that actually saves and stores and remembers where and how you've pulled G's in this, because remember, it is the F Sport handling. A little animation that actually shows which way your wheels are turned, which I just find so fun and hilarious to watch over time. And then your climate controls down here at the bottom. You can go to the full screen climate controls where you have your sync. You can control your rear climate as well, because this does have a 4-zone climate control with 4-seat heated and ventilated functions as well. So very comfortable cabin in here for sure. Down below you do get some hard buttons to control some more climate stuff, including Climate Concierge, which pretty much takes all the guesswork out of everything and will automatically regulate your seat ventilation, the air conditioning, the fan speed, all of that based on your preset temperature. Down here, multi-terrain select, which will take you through mud, sand, snow, all the different off-road modes here. These are your on-road drive modes, and here is your crawl control. We'll talk more about both of these outside ones as we get out to Barnwell Mountain. Here is your mode select button. This does everything from change you, let's see if I can find it here in the center screen, focus. You've got Eco, Comfort, Normal, Sport, Sport Plus, and Custom drive modes when you are on road. And then again, you hit Multi-Terrain Select, and that takes you into Auto, Dirt, Sand, Mud, and Deep Snow. But we are on road. Those different drive modes will also adjust your ride height there, and will change this from a G meter to pitch and roll. So I thought that was pretty cool. This is also how you adjust the crawl control speed when you are engaged on that crawl control. You have 4 high and 4 low right here, and you just push and turn that there. You do get physical buttons for heated and ventilated seats, and you can see you can also turn it to auto. Same with your steering wheel. I like to keep them in 3 on full blast on ventilation because it is quite warm here in East Texas and stays that way. Huge kudos to Lexus. These remember where they were set, so I can turn the vehicle off, back on, and it stays on. Very nice, very nice. You can see the passenger has one as well. USB-A and USB-C plugs up here. That's one way to interface with Apple CarPlay because this does have wireless Apple CarPlay as well. So you can see various different ways to interact with the infotainment screen. If you've been in any modern Toyota or Lexus product, you will note that this is very similar to what is in the new Tundra, etc. So very nice system there, and very quick and responsive as well. So I like that a whole lot. Center console here, this Qi wireless charger is just too small for my 12 Pro Max in a case. Without a case, it does quite well. Here are your more drive buttons here because you have your locking center differential, traction control, and your hydraulic adjustable ride height, auto hold, and your electronic parking brake. This does have a mechanical gear selector here. And then really nice here, you have a dual opening center console with a cool box that does good to keep your produce nice and chill, and it does have a little sliding tray in here, but makes it very easy for getting in to either side. And the last thing I want to show you up front here is the glove box. So it is very deep, but this is perhaps the largest owner's manual I think I've ever seen, and it gets a dedicated cubby up there on the top, and it is leather wrapped. So very nice materials in here as well. But let's move to the back. All right, hopping into the second row of the Lexus LX 600, you can see I'm actually very comfortable sitting behind myself at 5'10". Nice cutouts here on the back of the seats for additional knee and leg room, but I am quite comfortable at 5'10", sitting behind myself. And these seats, I did not mention it, sitting up front. These are perhaps the nicest, softest leather seats that we've tested so far here on the channel. And this F Sport model does get the black and red accents. Very nice, very comfortable in here. Did mention it does have 4-zone climate control with heated and ventilated seats on all 4 outboard positions. You can actually control that all back here from the back of the center console. One thing I will note that I absolutely love as a parent, you do get vents on the back of the center console, which aren't my favorite, but when you also have vents up here on the ceiling, the combination of both makes for a very comfortable ride back here in the second row. And while we're talking center console, you can also access the center console from the front with a button mounted here on the back. So if you've got something chilling in the cool box, you can reach that as well. This does have a recline mode. It is 60-40 split. So here I am sitting on the 40% side and sitting rather comfortably. There is a fold down center armrest with a pop out center couple of cup holders there for additional comfort and convenience. The $127,000 ultra premium version of this model actually deletes the third row seats and puts 2 captain's chairs here with a full center console and a function to move this passenger seat up and out of the way with an ottoman back there on the back, so you can really get comfortable in higher trims of this model. But this is, you know, the lesser LX 600 for, you know, the average person. You do get sunshades back here in the back. They are manual, but do a good job of blocking out the sun and cover a majority of the window. Not all rear sunshades do that. And then I didn't mention the Mark Levinson sound system in this one, which does sound amazing. It has these really cool speaker grille covers as well. Some more piano black that is repeated from up front. Not my favorite, but all in all, very nice. Now, it's time for me to show you that third row. You can see access to the third row comes from a tilt and tumble second row seat that will not work if a car seat is in place, but I'm actually going to swing around here to show you exactly what the third row looks like. It is actually 2, I would describe them as jump seats, would be the best and most appropriate description of what those actually look like. I'm actually going to tuck this seatbelt away here in the side storage cubby, which does a very good job. And then you can actually power fold those seats here from the passenger side, and you can see those seat bottoms retract into the floor to give you a flat load floor, and the Lexus will beep to let you know that the seats are fully down. But here we go, folding them back up, and you'll see those 2 little jump seats pop back up out of the floor. Interestingly enough, I did check out the predecessor to this, the Lexus LX 570, and no, it did not have those little jump seats. It actually had a full bench. Climbing back here myself and scooting over to the passenger side, I can tell you that as far as knee room goes, sitting behind these seats. Knee room is fine. I am practically sitting on the floor, so my knees are up pretty high and close to my chin. Seat comfort for a little jump seat that is literally as wide as me, no joke, it's actually rather comfortable. It's not like sitting on a hard rock. I did mention this does have a power recline feature, which is really more or less a power sit you straight up and eliminate all your headroom button, but just so you know, reclining it, I could get comfortable back here. I wouldn't want to ride cross country or anything, but it is rather nice and comfortable. And you do get a USB-C port on both sides back here and a ceiling mounted AC vent. So you are not completely left high and dry back here in the third row. Lexus still did give you some additional comforts, and this center section of the seat folds down as well, just in case maybe you need to stretch a leg out or something, I don't know. But you can get rather comfortable back here in the third row of this LX 600. Another awesome feature of this vehicle is its hydraulic suspension. Yes, hydraulic, not air suspension, hydraulic, which does allow for a positive 7 inches or negative 2 inches of ground clearance distribution. That positive 7 is for obviously more ground clearance when off-roading. Dropping it down 2 inches from its normal ride height helps with ingress and egress, although those running boards do a very good job there as well. You can see I'm in the tallest ride height right now, and it is very quick to drop down to its lowest ride height. I'm not time-lapsed right now. That was real time, dropping it down to its lowest ride height. So this thing does adjust quite a bit and quite quickly, and will do it on the fly to get you in the most aerodynamic ride height possible. So you can drop it down to this low position, set off on your drive, and it will raise to its normal ride height when on the road. All right, getting in the Lexus and starting it up, that push button start is very prominently placed here on the floating screen up front. Mentioned it earlier, this is the new Toyota Lexus system that is finding its way into many different products and does a great job. There is a lot of bonging in this one, just something to be aware of. But I did want to show you those camera systems because they are perhaps some of my favorite. You can see full bird's eye 360, nice view out the front, and I can turn off my trajectory lines there as well. But it does a very cool thing in that it uses the memory of this system to remember what the camera saw. So as you move over stuff, your bird's eye camera becomes basically an invisible car system, and you can see I'm driving over these lines, but I can still see them underneath my vehicle. Very nifty here in the parking lot, and we will get into that more when we venture off-road. But all told, a very cool system that uses the cameras and this new infotainment for making it very easy to find, locate, and manage and navigate your large LX into its perfect parking spot. All right, getting this thing out on the road, I'm actually going to put it in Sport Plus mode, and there we go. 409 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque from that twin-turbo V6 under the hood, 10-speed automatic transmission. I have really fallen in love with this powertrain, this transmission, all of it. It just works so seamlessly. Though, as you just saw, Sport mode, Sport Plus mode, I've driven a Lexus RCF Fuji Speedway Track Edition, and that really makes that F Sport mean something. In this, not quite there. This is still a 7,000 pound large truck-based SUV that is rather heavy, but will get moving with that twin turbo V6 pulling you all the way. The four-wheel drive system in this is basically a 4-high system or 4-auto system that will really engage the drive wheels as needed. You really don't have to mess or fuss with the four-wheel drive system over here unless you're doing some serious off-roading. But Sport Plus does a little bit more for, again, this is technically called the F Sport handling version. So I'm going to find some twisty roads here in East Texas and see exactly how that handling aspect of this vehicle plays into the equation. So I am out at my favorite driving roads here in East Texas. A little bit of texture, a little bit of curves, a little bit of elevation change. It's actually where I took the last Lexus press vehicle that Lexus gave us and was thoroughly inspired and impressed with the handling capabilities of that 2021 outgoing Lexus NX crossover. This is not a crossover. This is a truck-based SUV. It's big, it's lumbering, but with 409 horsepower under the hood, it is quite powerful. This being the F Sport handling gives me promise of something fun and engaging, though something in the formula just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Did mention the drive modes here. I've switched it back to comfort, but I will go ahead and switch it over to Sport S. Y'all know me, I drive a 6-speed manual transmission vehicle daily. I just can't get behind manual shift modes in vehicles like this with paddle shifters. So I'm gonna let the vehicle do its thing and find the right gear for this situation. This will adjust the suspension as needed. It adjusts the throttle response to give me a truly fun and engaging driving experience. Or so I'm told. But I can tell you from riding around in this daily that it does ride a whole lot like a truck, which makes me wonder how it's going to handle curves when the road turns, because it's a very large vehicle and there's a lot of body roll that can happen. So here we go. Let's see how it does. I will note that we are riding on large 22-inch wheels and tires. Those are Dunlop tires that are not Z-rated but are rather sporty in nature. And yeah, there's some body roll here in the curves. But they do a good job of keeping me planted, even though, yeah, there's a lot of body roll. I will note, while talking about those tires, I am on textured pavement, so the mics are probably picking up a little more road noise than you would expect from a Lexus, and I will testify to the fact that this is actually a very quiet, serene vehicle. But again, I'm on textured pavement with 22-inch low-profile tires. Yeah, a lot of body roll in this. It is still a very large SUV. I will also note, as we're talking about noise in here in the cabin, all that you may even possibly be hearing, because it's all that I'm hearing right now, is the rattle of my son's car seat. So as far as the build quality of this Lexus, it is rather quiet and unassuming on a daily drive. The only noises that I am really hearing are, again, the textured pavement and the rattles from my son's car seat. But I can fully say, from getting it out here on these twisty roads here in the East Texas woods. Handling need not be in the name of this particular model. They could just call it the F-Sport appearance. F-Sport handling, I don't know. That on-road business is all well and good, but with this adaptive hydraulic suspension and 7 inches of vertical ground clearance that can be added at the push of a button, I absolutely had to come out to Barnwell Mountain here in Gilmer, Texas to check how this thing performs with that suspension and all the other electronic goodies deep inside. You have multi-terrain select, you've got different drive modes that you can choose from here for on-road driving, and a crawl control. I've got it here in multi-terrain select. You then go here and select your drive mode. I am gonna go with, we'll do mud, even though I'm not really in mud. You can see it automatically adjusts my driving height, and you can see here my pitch and roll, as well as my brake and accelerator applications. I'm actually going to go up a little bit of a hill climb, so I'm going to show you just how well this crawl control really works when you get out on the trail, because it modulates not only your brake but your accelerator. So think of it truly as an off-road adaptive cruise control. It adapts to whether you're going up or coming down. You just press it right there, and now I'm really focused on what is here on the screen and what is in front of me. So the camera system in this vehicle is absolutely amazing. I can see both of my front tires. I can see trajectory lines and warnings about my mirrors, how far they stick out and where I should be worried. And then this awesome invisible vehicle feature uses the front camera and the memory system built in to this new infotainment system to project what is essentially around my tires, so that if there is an obstacle in front of me, I can make sure to dodge that. Now, I am out here solo, so I am not doing a lot of crazy tricks or stunts in this, and I would never advocate going anywhere without a spotter if you're going to do some serious off-roading. But I have done this trail many times in crossover-based vehicles, so I know this LX 600 can handle it without a problem. But I did want to show off some of the off-road features of this vehicle, including the crawl control. I am not on the brake, I am not on the throttle, I am monitoring the situation around me to make sure that I don't hit anything and that I have a clear view out of the obstacle I'm in. You can see really helps me dodge that root that sticks up out of nowhere and allows me to climb up and out of this ditch without any problems whatsoever. Again, I'm in crawl control, so the vehicle did all of the brake and throttle modulation on that. Didn't have to do a thing other than to make sure I was pointed in the right direction. Can disable crawl control right there with that. You can tell just from my throttle inputs, I am in 4 low. This does have a locking center differential as well, which allows you to tackle a little bit more tricky terrain that would enable locking the front and rear differentials there together. There is some of that out here. I'm not going to go through, like I said, the craziest stuff, but the hydraulic suspension on this can increase my ride height by 7 inches for increased approach, departure, and breakover and ground clearance, all while out here on the trails. And as you can see, just looking around me and watching my pitch and roll here on the screen, there is a lot going on out here as far as different angles and elevations and terrain. You've got rocks, you've got sand. There's a lot to really test out a vehicle out here, and unfortunately these camera systems really do flatten out a lot of what's out in front of me, as does the camera that you're watching this through right now. Let me tell you, this does this is definitely more tricky than the camera leads on. I will say that this one does have the plastic covered running boards that make some of the obstacles out here just a little bit harder than they should be, because that is truly the lowest point on this vehicle, are those two running boards. Again, I'm going to put it in off-road crawl control and let it really take over all the throttle duties as I navigate a little bit of a tricky situation here. Again, keep in mind my pitch and roll here. But you can see here, this really is a very easy section for this LX 600. Nothing really challenging to break a sweat out here on this part of the pavement. I'm gonna turn crawl control off. It's almost overkill for what I was just working through. But one thing to keep in mind is this is the F Sport handling model, so it did come with 22-inch wheels and tires. In fact, the window sticker on the rear passenger window alerts you to the fact that these tires may not even make it to 20,000 miles. So again, I'm not going to be doing a lot of crazy stunts out here. I just wanted to show you the quick basics of this model. There you have it, a quick review of this 2022 Lexus LX 600. In lieu of getting the Toyota Land Cruiser here in the States, if you want a big three-row truck-based SUV with Toyota's legendary reliability and their new twin-turbo power plant, you're settled for this for the 2022 model year. We aren't getting the Land Cruiser, but for 23, we are getting a brand new Toyota Sequoia, which promises a lot of the same benefits of this. I'm just hoping maybe that back seat's a little bit bigger and less of a sacrifice in favor of off-road prowess. This thing was quite capable off-road, but these running boards and a few other things, these tires, led me not to do my normal battery of tests, because while this is very capable off-road, what you're really buying this for is that big Lexus luxury, which this does quite well. The new Toyota infotainment system is just superb, and I can't wait to see that trickle down into more and more vehicles. That invisible camera, invisible car system, I just think is one of the coolest tricks of this vehicle, though you can get pretty much all of that in other vehicles that don't have this Lexus's $106,000 price tag. And perhaps that's where this vehicle falls a little short for me personally, because at $106,000, you can get a pretty well spec'd out Jeep Grand Wagoneer. Jeep is legendary off-road heritage and has quite a bit more tech and luxuries inside than this one does. I think for that $106 price tag, you are really paying for that Lexus name, the reliability that Toyota and Lexus promise, and a little bit of exclusivity as well. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and if you want to see what my wife and son think, be sure and subscribe and ring the bell so you're notified when our family review drops later this week. Till next time, gearheads. Bye. This seat is all the way back. I'm actually gonna redo that because I don't like that. I'm actually gonna do my best to climb over the camera here. Ugh. Nope, not gonna happen. It's getting bigger, bigger. Yeah, I might be just a little crazy, but it's so cool, right? Sad this didn't make it into the full review, but you stuck around. Thanks.